going on, you guys? So today has been interesting. It is, what is it, 10/29/31. It is Friday. Literally the day after the snow melt delivery. And I just want to say, some days are easier than others. Sometimes you just turn a corner and there's just always an issue. Well, today was one of those days, and I will quickly explain why without boring everyone to death. So, last night after I was done picking up my last Kaiser aluminum load, done tarping, going back to the yard, and I've had this issue before, but my drop axle fender, the post, the little bracket, broke again. Whole bolt sheared. So I put bungees around it, got to the yard, and that was my day. My day was just spent delivering and then picking up two, bringing it back to the yard, blah, 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 blah. So, what system? Sometimes, you guys, I don't even know. I can't tell. Okay, off track. Oh, it's already down. Okay, so this morning I wake up 6:30. You know, I was up before 6, but I figured I'd give them some time to get their lives together and figure out how to attack the day. So I went to the shop. I explained to them kind of what was going on. So there was that. I also wanted to get the windshield fixed because a rocket hit it and put a hole through it, spider cracks and everything. Right on the top, right in the middle. I guess it's right in front of sensors and stuff. So there was that. I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, no, it was just those two issues. Okay, so just to run through the day quickly. I get there, I explain to them what's going on. They go, okay, so they have me pull into the bay. I get into the bay, shut it down. I go over kind of what's going on, and they're like, okay, cool. It'll be a little bit. I'll come find you or give you a call or whatever. I'm like, cool. So I'll just go hang out in the driver's lounge. Well, that's what I did. I went and hung out in the driver's lounge all fucking day. And you're probably wondering, well, Jay, how are you driving right now? Well, I was given a load that was to be picked up at 2 p.m. So during this time, I got time. I'm patient about it. So they fixed that. I go in there. I'm asking them. I'm like, so what's going on? They're like, well, we have to wait for the windshield guy to come and get it. Well, they had to order the part. Let me back up. They had to order the part because they didn't have the part on hand, so they had to order it. We're talking 9:30, say 9:50. I go in there and I ask, kind of what's going on. He's like, oh, it legit just came in. We're gonna install it now. And I'm like, cool. 10:30. I go back in there, and they're like, oh yeah, the windshield guy just showed up. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so how long do you think it'd be? Oh, about 40 minutes. I'm like, okay, no big deal. So I wait about 40 minutes. I set a timer. Right now it's like 11:30, something like that. I go back in there, and they're like, oh, it takes another 40 minutes for it to set because they just replaced the whole windshield. Yeah, it'll be like another 40 minutes. I'm like, god damn it. So now I'm looking at like noon, 1 o'clock. It takes about an hour, let's just say 2 hours to get there. I still had to get fuel. Truck still ain't done. Last minute, my DM goes, well, leave the truck there and we'll give you another truck to use. Okay. So I get in the truck. It's some clapped out piece. I mean, it's awful. It's the same 680, but it doesn't have a refrigerator or microwave. And And I'm like in my mind thinking, and I'm expected to use this until I can get back to the yard. Like, that just sounds just silly as shit, you know. So I got my DM blowing me up, you know, oh, this is time sensitive. Well, you know, I can't do anything about it, dude. Like, I really cannot. It's the way life is sometimes. So I grab the trailer, or I grab the truck. I go over to my truck. I kind of pull out what I can out of it, expecting to be in it for a while. And we're talking a scramble, because I know I got, you know, next to little time on me. You know, I don't have a lot of time for that. So I get everything on there. I get stuff kind of sort of set up. You know, I get in the truck. I start it up. You know, I check stuff out really quickly. You know, I start moving with it. You know, I log into the Qualcomm. I start getting the load notes in. And I'm like, cool. You know, we're going to make some moves now. The whole ultimate goal here is to get home, right? It's Halloween. I would like to spend Halloween with my kids and do that. Well, now I have to find a trailer. I find a trailer. Oh, I do. And mind you, during this, you know, we're having a huge influx of orders coming from IEDS. And what this means is basically, as a driver, so I would be dispatched to go do this. It is literally 26 miles away. Okay? I take an empty. I go down there, load it up, tarp it, bring it back, drop it. Grab another empty. Go down. Another 26 miles. Load it up, tarp it, bring it back, drop it. So we're basically just taking empty trailers and turning them into loaded trailers. So there's not a whole lot of empty trailers left, and most of them are awful. Most of them are terrible, and most of them are garbage. Yeah. So I spent a minute dealing with that. So I'm on my way. Truck needs fuel though. I get to the Petro, it's like across the street. I get there, you know, and during this whole time, this is my first time driving this whole truck and the trailer. Like, I'm getting a feel for it, and it's just feeling rickety as shit. Like, it's barely holding air, you know. I'm like realizing this, you know. I'm like going, okay, well, I'm not understanding, you know. All my connections are on, you know. I double check, triple check everything. It's just not holding air the way that I am comfortable with. And so, you know, I get to the Petro, I put fuel in it, I start it up, and I'm looking at my GPS, and I'm looking at the arrival time, and it's like 2:20, 2:15. I'm like, I could do it, but it would be cutting it really close. And let's just say I go back to the yard, it'd be at like 2:30. And so that's exactly what I did. I just went right back to the yard. I parked it, you know, I backed up the trailer, and I called the DM and I said, you know, my GPS is telling me that I'm not going to get there until 2:30. Mind you, they stop working at 2. I mean, to put all this together, if I were to do this load, I would have had to have left a hell of a lot earlier than that last minute. That didn't help at all. All it did was just cause a whole lot of confusion and chaos. Because now I'm being logged out of one Qualcomm and being put into another Qualcomm, and so it just added a lot of stress to the situation that it didn't need to be there. So yeah, and literally by the time I get there, my truck was done. So I just parked everything back to where I found it, grabbed my truck, brought it over to the other truck, took everything out of the other truck that the loaner, and put it back in my truck, grabbed a trailer, and then sat. Well, I had to go get gear for my load because I had dropped my gear on another load. So I had to re-up on my gear. So I went and re-upped on my gear. I go in there, and there's nobody even fucking in there. I wait. Finally, somebody shows up. I get in there. He shows up. He sits down. He's like, well, can you give me like 10 minutes to get logged in? Da, 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 da. I'm like, fucking shit. Are you kidding me right now? You know, it's already been just the longest fucking day. And like, last thing I want to do is give somebody 10 goddamn minutes, you know? So I decided, okay, I'm going to sit in my truck. I'm going to wait 10 minutes. 10 minutes were up. I go inside. I literally have to grab everything myself, which is fine. I'm not going to complain about that. But, you know, it's just some of these guys, they just don't give a shit. Every time I go to the yard, It's always just like, woe is fucking me, you know. Like they just don't appreciate even fucking breathing. It's just bizarre to me. And then you ask for something, they're just like, oh god, you know. Like, dude, I'm just asking you a goddamn question. Just answer it, or you know, just do something. Okay. So I get all my gear, I get it in my headache rack, you know, I get everything where it needs to go. I have plenty of straps. I'm good. Like, I didn't even need the straps. I got plenty. Okay, so I got everything in there. I go and park. I wait. I get a phone call from my DM saying, oh, we have a load for you. And I'm like, oh, cool. So basically, I'm waiting for this guy to come and drop this trailer. And I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go home, and then I'm going to take it to Woodinville. It's a Scafco load. So he shows up. I go over there, and it's a live load. So it's not a preload, mind you. It was a live load for him. So he gets there, and they live load him. He comes to the yard, because I'm picking up his trailer, and there's substantial overhang on the front of the trailer. They can't get the airlines off. It took like bending and like all this other weird nonsense. Like, finally they got it off. But it took a while. Like, screwdrivers were involved. I'm like, I mean, I can already see what I'm in for. They pull away. I back underneath it. I go to get shit on. You know, everything was tight. I finally got them on after a good minute. I got everything on. Everything's good. I go to you know, put air in everything, and there's just hissing. You know, I'm like, okay, you know, that's expected. Whatever. So I take everything, you know, I do all the business, I resituate everything. Everything is good. Right? I apply air, everything's good, I don't hear any hissing, blah, 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 blah. Well, as soon as I do my brake checks, right? So as soon as I went to hit my brakes, I hear just this exhalation, like, how do I want to say it? Like this whooshing, this just mass amounts of air coming out from the back. That's not normal. You know, you should be pressing the brake and it should just hold. It's not. So every time I'm hitting the brake, it's just gushing air out of all of that. So luckily I had some Vaseline, so I took them all off, and I got after everything. You know, I went around all the seals and everything. But what was happening was, it was when I was doing this, it was pinching the seals on the glad hands on the trailer, whatever you call those things, the glad hand receivers. I can't think right now. It was pinching that, and so it was creating a gap, you know. Not just one, because I did the first one. I was like, okay, we're cool, you know. And eventually I had to do the other one too, so I had to do the service and the emergency line. After that, everything was good. Ready to roll. Mind you, I'm still like putting myself together, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to take myself out of bags that I put myself in so I can get in this other fucking truck. Still doing all of this. You know, I'm getting phone calls, and you know, I'm just like, oh my god. I don't even have time to pee. Like, I haven't even had a goddamn opportunity to do that. Which is fine, but things just started happening kind of fast. And, you know, I'm all about it, but, you know, when things are just constantly, every turn that you take, it just seems to have a weird effect, you know. You're just kind of like, it's just, it gets you, you know what I mean? Called my wife, you know, during all this, and I got irritated. Feel bad about that, but it's just one of those things where, you know, you really try. You know, you try to just remain cool about stuff, and it just gets to you after a while. Especially when all I wanted to do this morning was wake up and just get. Just wanted to go. All I wanted to do was get up and go. No. Nope. So between, the day before having to deal with the snow melt situation, doesn't say that word again, dealing with that, and then, today having to deal with all this stuff, I'm just like, oh God. I'm exhausted. And mind you, I don't get paid for any of that. I don't know if anybody's confused about that, but I don't get paid for any of this stuff. So, I mean, if you want to drive, you want to become a truck driver, just remember, you're going to probably do some shit you're not going to get paid for. It's not just sitting in the seat and turning the wheel and getting paid for everything you do. No, fuck that. You could work 18 hours in a day. The only clock that matters is the one that's bolted to your dashboard. That's the only clock that matters. Anything between sleeper and, none of that shit matters. And I'm trying to save my clock, so I'm trying not to start my clock sitting around doing a bunch of hula baloo, a bunch of BS. I'm trying to save my clock. In reality, it doesn't even matter at this point, because it's only going to take me 3 hours to get home. But here's the real kicker, though. Of course, it wouldn't matter in any direction, because I'd be going kind of the same distance. But the real interesting part is Halloween's what, the 31st? Yeah, I don't even get to do that. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Oh God, I always get interrupted, man. I always get phone calls. Where was I? I don't even know where I was at. So, oh yeah, Halloween. So, today's Friday. Drive down there, get home, park this thing up. Hopefully there's parking. I really hope to God there is. It should be, what time? Oh yeah, 6:30. Like, it's gonna suck. Yeah, 6:30, and I'll have tomorrow, and then I'll have most of Sunday, most of Sunday, most of Halloween, but I'm gonna have to leave somewhat early. I mean, I'm gonna have to leave and at least get there in Woodinville by, gosh, 9. I mean, I'm gonna have to get there by 9. I think it's like a 4 hour, 3 or 4 hour drive, probably 3. I think it's 3. A 3-hour drive, yeah. Not terrible, but you think about it, 9, 8, 7, 6. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to leave like late afternoon, and that's just so I can start because my appointment time is 6:30 in the morning on Monday. So I have to start my clock, stop my clock at specific times, just so I can just stay within my 10 hours, because I really don't want to do any splits or any other bullshit. I hate doing that shit. It's like to run my clock and just that'd be that. Yeah, and then the phone call I got was pre-planned for Monday, so after that I'm going to Kent Home Depot, picking up a preloaded trailer and taking it to Richland, which has a window of opportunity between 5 and 10 p.m. Well, 4 and 10 p.m., but stupid. So dumb, but I hope next week is better. This week was fine. This week was great, but it was just between, really just today. I mean, today and yesterday morning were the only days that just sucked. The in-between of yesterday was fine. So, Hopefully it gets better. But I got my truck back. I got all my stuff back. I got a new windshield, brand new windshield. Hadn't even been cleaned yet. You know, I already got a bug guts all over it. Got a new drop axle fender and lug nut caps, whatever those are called. Little beauty caps on my lug nuts because I lost 2 at some point, and I've been, like the past month and a half, I've been trying to get them replaced. Last time that happened to my drop axle fender, they said that they were going to fix them, and that never happened, and I was just like, screw it, you know, I'm not even going to bother. You guys didn't fix something. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, hopefully it gets better. Hopefully you guys have a good Halloween and everything's safe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for listening. Subscribe and, you know, give that thumbs up, you know, if you've been in the same situation or, you know, you sympathize. It sucks. But yeah, give it a thumbs up. Give it a comment too, you know. Nobody ever comments on anything anymore. It's just like going to Costco, you know, they just sample the food and, you know, I don't want to buy it, but it was really good though. Well, why are you fucking eating the food? Stop eating the food if you're not gonna buy it. Don't tell me it's good. I know it's good. It's bacon wrapped fucking sausage. Of course it's good. Would you like to buy a box? Oh no, I don't want to buy a box. Well, the stupid shit you're buying right there. Just buy a box. Alright, rant over. Have a good weekend, guys. Peace.